I saw this PS2 online, and the seller told me it cannot read any disk. I thought it might be just a dead laser, which is a super easy fix, so I bought it to see if I can fix it, but it turns out to be a nightmare for me. It does not boot into the game directly, but at least it can still detect a disk inside. Let's select the disk and press enter to see what happens. It goes back to the browser. Well, it's not a big deal, because we can simply convert our disk into ISO images and load it directly from a hard disk using this network adapter. Let's turn it on to see what happened. Somehow it gets stuck on this black screen. I'm 100% sure it's not the problem of the network adapter or the hard disk, because I can use them perfectly fine on another PS2 of mine. On a closer inspection, this PS2 does try to load the hard disk. Look at the LED indicator. But somehow it loads for a split second and then stops. You can also hear the hard disk spinning sound, but the spinning does not last long. Something is really wrong with this PS2. Let's turn it off for a moment. Whoa, what's that? Is it the yellow light of death of a PS2? Let's try to turn it off again. If FreeHDBoot doesn't work, let's try FreeMCBoot. Great, we can see the boot up screen. Let's try to launch OPL from here. At least we are not getting stuck on a black screen anymore. It shows nothing on the hard disk. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of games inside this hard disk. If this method doesn't work, let's try loading games over an Ethernet cable. The loading time is unusually long. Something must be wrong. I'm pretty sure my setting is correct, and it works immediately on another PS2 of mine. Let's double check the network setting. We have the correct IP address, everything is correct. Let's try to ping this PS2 from a computer to check if both devices can communicate with each other. Yes, our computer can talk to the PS2 successfully, and the PS2 responds back without any problem. That means the network adapter is fine and the network setting is correct. Let's try one more thing before we give up. The U-Launch ELF. Let's go to the hard disk to see what we can find there. It takes a while to load the hard disk, but in the end it shows nothing. It makes me wonder if the disk drive has any problem to begin with. In order to verify it, I extract the disk drive and put it into another PS2 of mine to see if it works. Now we have the disk drive extracted. Let's try it on a non-working motherboard. And then we assemble it to see if it works. I bought this PS2 from Japan, so the menu is all in Japanese. Let's see if it can boot into the game directly. This is interesting. So this disk drive is perfectly fine. The problem of that PS2 might be somewhere else instead of the disk drive. Anyhow, we should put a label on this disk drive to avoid confusion later. I did some research online to see if other people also face the same problem. And I found this post. Basically, it's the same as our case. When I scroll down, I found this solution. There are two fuses corresponding to the network adapter and the hard disk. In some cases, they are blown, making the PS2 unable to detect the hard disk. Let's check if our fuses are fine or not. This one is fine. This one is fine too. This one is also fine. I also check other fuses on this motherboard. Everything is fine, nothing is blown. Then I start to compare the readings between a working motherboard and a non-working one. I found some differences. For example, this capacitor gives around 1 ohm between the negative terminal and the ground, and around 8 ohms between the positive terminal and the ground on a working motherboard. But for the non-working motherboard, although the reading between the negative terminal and the ground is fine, it reads over 200 ohms on the positive terminal instead. I removed the capacitor, but the strange reading doesn't go away. The problematic terminal is connected to the 12th pin of this chip, CXD3098Q. This chip is labeled as IC605 in the circuit diagram. And the problematic reading is corresponding to pin 41 of this chip. Pin 41 is directly connected to pin 22 of the same chip. Judging from the names for these two pins, it seems they are related to DVD. I continue measuring different locations near this chip, and I found more differences in readings. The differences in reading correspond to these locations on the circuit diagram. So something is wrong nearby, but I cannot figure out where. But I do find that IC605 is connected to IC510. So I proceed to measure the locations nearby IC510. I'm not sure what these values imply, but something is wrong nearby. Either the chip IC510 or IC605 is bad. You might be thinking, oh, that's an easy fix. Just buy the replacement chip and swap them to see if the problem goes away. But one chip is out of stock, another chip takes 2 months to arrive. So I searched a bit more and found this guy reporting the same problem with his PS2. But the only reply to this post is this. I guess no one knows how to fix it at the moment. If you know how to fix it, leave a comment below.